Hi, my name is Birgitte, and I'm going to give you a quick instructional video on how to write the 5-paragraph essay. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we are going to look at this 5-paragraph essay right here. So I've color-coded it using the point, illustrate, explain method. The topic sentence, which is also called yes, topic sentence. The point is in turquoise, illustrate, that's evidence, and that is in orange, and analysis is in yellow for the rest of this essay. Just briefly, this essay is an analysis of Jamila Lyscott's 3 Ways to Speak English TED Talk. You can also find this on my site. There's a link in this document, which I'll share with you. And it's a 5-minute video. So if you want to look at that first, you can, but I think you can get something out of this anyway. And there's also a transcript linked here. First of all, I'm an English teacher, so I want to say that make it a habit to put your first name, last name, class name, and their teacher's name and the course and the date on your essay. However, your teacher tells you to do that, and it may ask you to put a cover page, but make sure those things are on your essay so it doesn't get lost in a shuffle. This is a topic question. Not all essays have it, but you can have one. And the topic question for this is, how does Lyscott make the argument that minority dialects should be considered equal in value to standard English? So in the introductory paragraph, you want to start out with the text title or the video, film, whatever it is you're analyzing. The type of text, what it is, like this is a TED Talk, the year of publication, when it was published, and the author, of course. The middle part of your introduction should have something to do with what the text you are analyzing is about. So the middle sentence of the paragraph speaks to what the text is about, themes present, and so forth. So Lyscott's speech depicts the way in which our culture favors standard English, conveying the prejudice we have towards minority dialects by juxtaposing phrases from the cultural groups she belongs to, highlighting how each way of speaking English has a specific purpose. She emphasizes the unfairness of prioritizing standard English based on the history of how African Americans have been treated in this country. And this perspective is conveyed through, drumroll, thesis statement, persuasive techniques typical of speeches such as repetition of key phrases, anecdotal evidence, and charged language. And those 3 things are going to form your body paragraphs. So the topic sentence here, the point is the repetition of the word articulate in 3 ways to speak English is utilized to suggest that Lyscott's 3 dialects should be considered equal. Now, this sentence here is a bridge sentence. It basically connects the topic to the quote. So articulate means the ability to speak clearly and fluently. Lyscott argues that white-dominated society views minority dialects as inferior and therefore less articulate. The opening line of Lyscott's TED Talk, a baffled lady observes the shell where my soul dwells. And this here is in-text citation, MLA 8, is a metaphor in which a baffled lady represents white society observing Lyscott's dark skin, her shell, and the woman is baffled to learn that of Lyscott's articulation skills. The implication is that the woman is surprised to find that Lyscott speaks standard English so well, despite the color of her skin, suggesting this way of speaking English is superior to other ways to speak English. Repetition of articulate is used to emphasize how society perceives standard English as articulate, in contrast to how the author perceives the hypocrisy of only standard English being seen as articulate. This is the premise for the rest of the speech. Second piece of evidence here, I would recommend always having 2 quotes per paragraph. So Lyscott continues, enunciation and diction, don't even think of it because I'm articulate. The emphasis on enunciation and diction of standard English as the articulate way of speaking English is included in the first few lines of the speech to convey the point that this is the flawed perception perpetuated by our culture. Then we move on to body paragraph 2, paragraph 3, body paragraph 2. So there's 3 points here in this essay, 3 arguments. This is the second one. Lyscott argues the benefit of being adept at these dialects is to communicate with a cultural group that would not resonate with standard English. Bridge sentence, juxtaposing phrases from her 3 ways of speaking speaking the English language to illustrate how responding in standard English to Caribbean or neighborhood dialect sounds ridiculous. So here's the quote. So when my father asks, what kind of thing is this? I say, Father, this is the impending problem at hand. So you can see here, I'm butchering her Caribbean dialect because I don't speak that version of English. But also she's emphasizing here how she responds to her father in standard English doesn't make sense. So the phrase from Lyscott's father exemplifies her way of speaking English in her home, juxtaposed against the academic language she uses with her father to convey how a standard English response to her father's Caribbean way of speaking English is ironic and inappropriate in that context. Lyscott, a poet, needs to switch between her 3 languages to be perceived as a part of each of the English-speaking groups to which she belongs. So when my professor comes on the block and says, hello, I stop him and I say, no, you're being inarticulate. The proper way is to say, what's good? The implication is that different ways of speaking English for different contexts is more articulate than using the same standard English for all contexts. As such, her professor would be out of place in her neighborhood where standard English is the norm. In order to connect with the people in her community, the local way of speaking English would better serve her professor. So think about this, you from second language learners as well. Also, if you speak a certain kind of English with your friends that your parents don't understand, maybe that's similar way, right? If you speak that way with your friends and someone responds in very standard English, it's kind of awkward, right? So paragraph 4, this is the 3rd point and 3rd body paragraph. Lyscott also makes the argument that considering standard English as a superior to other ways of speaking English is reflective of a white arrogance that has sidelined African Americans throughout the history of the United States. No bridge sentence here, just straight into the quote because it kind of just works. So I know that I had to borrow your language because mine was stolen, but you can expect me to speak your history wholly while mine's is broken. Mine's here is, I think a Caribbean term, but it's, wouldn't pass as standard English, right? It would be incorrect. So the reference to slavery, it acknowledges her language was stolen. As she points out, the loss of her family's African roots is an important aspect of our linguistic history. Lyscott references African language structures to demonstrate how standard English is not the linguistic heritage of African Americans in conjunction with the pronouns our to juxtapose Black Americans in contrast to you, meaning those of white Anglo-Saxon heritage, whose standard English has historically been considered superior. In addition, she emphasizes the last 2 words with the words stolen and broken in an end rhyme to convey the linguistic injustice towards those of African American heritage. She continues, as much as has been raped away from our people, how can you expect me to treat their imprint on your language as anything less than equal? The use of the word rape carries a violent connotation to convey how the history behind the prejudice, other ways of speaking English in favor of standard English is unfair to minority groups. Lyscott conveys how the loss of her language due to slavery and the continued abuse of African Americans has manifested linguistically, with Black dialects viewed as inferior. Lyscott argues that these dialects should not be viewed as anything less than equal because they too tell the story of a powerful, articulate people. So finally, in the conclusion, this is what is customary: summary of the main points of the text. So Lyscott ends the speech by exemplifying greetings in all three of our languages to illustrate how being trilingual is a strength, because she can speak to multiple groups of people with her three ways of speaking English, making her far more articulate than speaking standard English alone. Now, I've included 3 quotes here because this is how she ends her speech. You don't have to include any quotes in the conclusion. Normally, we don't do this unless it's very short and it just kind of makes sense in this context. So she says, what's good, what a guan, and of course, hello, because I'm articulate. In this way, she reframes what the word articulate means by including not only standard English, but the ability to be fluent in more than one way of speaking English as an asset to be desired. And then it is common to include a comment on the significance of the message or theme in a text. So analyze to a broader context. So for example, when you want to bring it to the community or the world at large. So it is time to value the linguistic heritage of all its citizens and enrich the English language through embracing our different ways of speaking English. That is what Lyscott considers articulate. While some ways of life have been viewed as superior throughout our history, it is the celebration of all our linguistic differences that contributes to the richness of our language. And here we have works cited in MLA. And this is the end of my spiel. Good luck with your essays. Let me know if you need any help, and I'll see you soon.